Hello, and welcome back to the channel. This is Jimmy, and I appreciate you clicking on another video today. Nice little rainy day here in Bethesda today on my little midday walk. Wasn't gonna let the rain stop us from getting out here and chatting. Yesterday's video, I talked a lot about fear of failure, and I got a lot of positive feedback from some of the shorts I put on my social media, and I'm going to do a continuation of that one. I definitely think that's a very important topic in self-confidence and building beliefs, is that ability to overcome fear. And I've done some things over my career, being an uneducated, I don't say uneducated, but I didn't finish college, and that was something that used to get in my head. But things that I've done to be able to overcome the fear of rejection and feeling like I'm not enough because I didn't have the credentials. So definitely want to share some insight on that. But for today's episode, I want to talk about that concept of be, do, have, and how that shows up in a leadership landscape. So we talked about a couple episodes ago, your identity, who you be, like making that a really clear definition, usually underlines and is the seed capital for what you do. Your inspired action, the things that you would just almost do for free because you're just so good at it, you don't even really think about it, equals what you have. And you can look at that formula from a lot of different perspectives. You can look at it from a macrocosm, right, and zoom all the way out. And who you identify as is going to define your actions and so forth. Or you can look at it on a microcosm level, right, and apply it to different areas of your life. The type of parent you want to be, right, the type of parent you be, define the things you do, impact what you're going to have, the type of relationship you're going to have with your kids. I don't believe you're necessarily going to change your kids, but like who you are will impact the relationship you would have with them. And so for me, I think when I think about be, to, have, as it relates to leadership, it is a very interesting thing. And I want to talk about how you can be a leader at any role, no matter what your level of the organization, no matter what role you play. Leadership is not about a title. Good morning. Leadership is about being a leader. And there's just a couple things that I found that's really kind of helped with that. The first thing that I want to talk about and what it takes to be a leader is strong conviction and a strong why. You can't lead other people in a direction if you don't know what that direction is yourself. Even if that direction, if you're inspired by somebody else or you're following somebody else, to be a really good leader, you have to have really strong conviction and a really good sense of direction yourself. People don't want to follow someone that they don't feel confident and know where they're going. And so people don't want to follow someone up the wrong mountain. And so the first thing I think that it takes to be a good leader is to really have a strong why, really strong foundation, and that strong sense of direction of where you're headed. So once you said you're going to be a good leader, that's the doing part, right? We talk about the be, do, have. And even if I say I'm going to be a leader, I don't care about the title, what does that really mean? I'm going to give direction. I want to make sure that people are moving in unison. Usually leaders are leading the line, you're leading the charge, you're leading the movement. But leading people is about getting people to move in one direction in unison, which is really challenging. But once you decide that's what you want to be, then it's around using that language, right? And what do leaders do? Leaders have strong convictions. Leaders are really confident in their convictions. Leaders are usually really confident in their way forward. Leaders are also really clear and confident, at least the best leaders I've worked for, on when they don't know something, because they know that that's not their subject matter expertise. And they need to focus on leading the thing they're leading, the movement and the challenge. And they know when to have really strong lieutenants and generals to really support other important efforts without taking their eye off the main mission. And so you could be a leader from any position or any place on any subject that you decide you want to be a leader of. When you're really convicted or something, or you're really strong in confidence, there's not a lot of people that can knock you off that, right? I think you can take in different perspectives. But the end mission is probably the end mission. And that's something that I find that's really, really an important quality for a leader to have, the ability to lead people and get people to want to follow the direction. I've had leaders that were not the highest person in command be the most impactful people in the organization. And I've seen that my whole career because that person has the ability to get people to want to follow. And the organization is really lucky that they get to use that person's skill set to drive their vision. And so if you can get a strong leader that's aligned with your vision, it's nothing that they can't really accomplish because they just use that language all the time. It's not a title. Leadership is a collection of skills. It's an attitude. It's to say, hey, I'm confident that if we do X, Y, and Z, this would be the outcome. And if it's not, I'll take accountability for it. And you can't have leadership without the willingness to take accountability, because that's where the courage comes in at. And people respect courageous leaders, people that know they're going to take a risk, but they're so confident that despite those risks, the leader's going to figure it out and everything's going to be okay. And then the last part of the formula, have, right? So if you say I'm going to be a leader, you define what type of leader I want to be. I want to be an empathetic leader, a good leader. I want to be a passionate leader. That dictates what you do. Then that's going to impact your outcomes. You've probably worked with folks that try to be leaders and like, that doesn't really feel great. You're not my boss. But then you've worked with those people who just you go to when you're stuck, right? We all got those people on our team, whether they're peers, and it's because they just have such great leadership traits in the area that they're a subject matter expert in. And it's because the way they talk about it is such a strong belief. They're so defined in who they be in that area. They have the respect and they're able to command the respect. So that's the third part of that formula with leadership, is that when you lead that way, you get to have the respect. And that's the half part about being a leader. It's not given to you. It has to be earned. And for some people, it might be a little harder to earn it because they don't believe, there's that word be again, they don't believe that they're really that strong of a leader. And guess what? People around them don't necessarily believe it, and because it comes out in their words. So we're going to visit this concept a lot in this channel because it has been the foundation of everything that I've done. Like once I decided that that's what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do, like I can't always articulate the actions, and that's what I'm getting good at now. Like that's another reason this channel has been really, really helpful for me. You know, I've been asked, like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? And I've not always been the best at articulating it because it just happens. It's what I'm inspired to do. I'm not the world's best planner. I like to see things, feel things out, take in my surroundings, and then come up with a plan of action, see what I got to work with, see the talent I have around me. And so I know exactly where my efforts and my energy is going to be the best utilized. And, you know, it's all been around be, do, have. And what's been successful around me getting a team to move in that direction is getting everybody to subscribe to like what we're going to be. What's going to be our team identity? What do we want to be known for? And if everybody can weigh in on that and we get something the whole unit wants to drive behind, well, we have some amazing results and we have an amazing time doing it. So that's just been something that I've picked up over the course of my 20 years at being a leader at different levels and capacities, even when times I didn't have the title. On what helped me get closer to those roles is just, you got to be a leader every day. If you are waiting for a title to be a leader, you will be waiting forever because they're not just given out. You might fall into one, but I will tell you the job doesn't become easier just because you have the title. You got to say, I'm going to be a leader. And to be a leader, you got to be willing to be confident. Another thing that's helped me develop leadership in other areas is like understanding when I'm not confident, that's probably when I'm not in the best position to lead. And there's been times in my career I've had to seek expertise. I had to seek perspective. I had to seek perspective to get me bought into an idea because I didn't really understand the why. And as a leader, sometimes it's your job to understand the why, or do you have to say, hey, this is not what I can do? But that ability to think critically and understand when I need to be bought in or when I need to do something different is really, really critical in I think in any person's success in being a leader. You have to recognize your own gaps. For me, I don't like to be unprepared. I don't ever want to show up as unprepared. Even though no one can tell you you're unprepared, my biggest issue with stage fright, even like playing a live instrument in front of a lot of people, has always been like, oh, I'm gonna mess up. And one of the things you learn as a performer that you just have to get over is like nobody knows you messed up but you. Even though you know it and it feels so loud, you just have to, the show has to continue to go on. And it's the same thing a lot of times that I found myself in leadership when I'm responsible to deliver really critical information in front of a large audience, or, I'm a guest speaker somewhere. The responsibility to get it right for me is really, really important. I don't care about being right. Doesn't really matter to me, but getting it right and making sure that I didn't waste anybody's time is something that I've often struggled with. And before I present, I have to get that out of my head, because if I bring that energy to the presentation, I'm going to do exactly the thing that I don't want to do, and that's waste people's time, because I'm going to be nervous, I'm not going to be organized, I'm not going to be in my head. And so now that I understand that's what gets in my way, that's what prevents me from not being confident, I do things to prepare myself. And I think technology continues to make these things a lot easier, to where I feel like I can now prepare for almost any content, any topic with 90 minutes worth of time, right? And if I'm going to need to be a subject matter expert on something I already know, but I need to go deeper because I'm talking to a different audience where their knowledge is great. Like, I have the bandwidth to learn and go deeper in that subject. So when I get on stage and I'm ready to present, I'm really confident about what I'm talking about. And if I'm really confident about what I'm talking about, I have conviction. And if I have conviction, people are more apt and more willing to listen and more willing to follow, because I believe what I say. But if I don't believe what I say, why would I expect anybody else to? So that's my philosophy. That's one of the things that get me stuck. When I'm afraid to take risks, it's the embarrassment of saying like, oh, he couldn't do what he said he can do. Like, my word means a lot to me. And I'm even working on overcoming that aspect of myself, because again, you don't know what you don't know. And just like I talked about in my last video, we let fear stop us from doing a lot of different things. And my fear of thinking that I have to be perfect and that everybody's hanging on every word is what prevented me from doing something like this years ago. I've always wanted to have a channel, vlog style channel, where I'm just sharing ideas and being able to share what I learned. Because if I can help somebody else, the road be a little easier. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Even if it's learning from what not to do, I don't mind sharing my story in that regard. I'm pretty vulnerable in that space. But I'll tell you, it's my English, right? Being able to speak grammatically correct, and worried that people are going to destroy me in the comment sections. And guess what? They might. But at the end of the day, those comments can't kill me. They can't hurt me unless if I let them. And that's this whole concept of what I've been talking about on this channel, is that we're so close. We have so much power over our own lives that we choose to give away and never figure out how to take back. And I'm hoping that me sharing stories, it's a little easier to be objective when it's not your life, but you can find some parallels and where you've seen these things show up in your life, and then maybe it stopped you from being as confident or getting the thing that you actually do deserve. But yeah, that's two things I give a third thing on how you can have leadership role. Value your opinion more than others. This might seem a little bit closer to the first, but when you're really trying to lead something, right? Some people won't take you as a subject matter expert, but you are, right? You're the subject matter expert in your life and your life experiences. And having that level of confidence and belief in yourself, I think, is really, really, really important. So your opinion, good morning. Your opinion matters. Your opinion matters the most. And if you believe that this is who you are and you have something to share, you have something that people want to hear, people are going to believe it too. If you don't, people won't. So 3 things that can help you show up as a leader today. Share this with somebody that's trying to find their leadership voice or just getting into it. Hopefully it'll help. It definitely helped me get into some pretty interesting rooms in my 20 years as a kid from East Cleveland. You know, didn't have any formal college education or very little. And I've been able to do, I've been able to do quite a bit in my last, like I said, few years, and it's super grateful for it. So if I can spread the word, help open the door for somebody else a little faster, I will. So if you like the video, please share it, like and subscribe. It's a busy day in Bethesda Road today for our nice little chat. But until next time, see you soon.